Hey, you guys. Welcome to Talk About It Thursdays. And I am your host, Karen Bailey. Let me know when you're on. I would love to say hello to you guys. You guys, I hope you're having a wonderful week so far. Hey, Shakita. Hey, beautiful. And so happy pre-Friday to everybody. I'm not sure. I believe they're going to be celebrating Juneteenth this weekend. So if you are out celebrating, I want you to be mindful, to be careful, just stay safe, have a good time, celebrate your heritage, and just try to love on one another. Use this as a time to visit people you haven't seen in a long time. You know, just spend some time. Hey, Angela, how you doing? And just use this as a time to reflect, you know, on everything that our race has gone through, you know, and it's not just for Black people to celebrate, it's for all races to celebrate, because we all have our own stories, you guys. We've all had our times of hardship and our times of triumph, and we all come together to make American history. It's not one race that is a symbol of America. It's all races. Hey, Nancy. So you guys, last week we talked, and if you did not get an opportunity to watch the video live, just understand that we do have our YouTube channel. It's Encouraged and Empowered to Win with Karen Bailey. So just know that all the videos that we do on Thursdays will be on there, and you can watch it anytime you want to watch it. You know, because sometimes when I'm up here talking, what I'm talking about, hey, Kinsley, may not fit you at this very moment. But just understand that while it may not be for you this time, there may be another video that is talking about a situation that you need some assistance with, or maybe you need to be encouraged through. So that's why I put them on YouTube, because I want you to be able to have access whenever you feel like you need it. If you have a friend that you feel like needs some encouragement, send them to the YouTube page, Encouraged and Empowered to Win. That's my whole goal with Sister I Got You, with Talk About It Thursdays. I want to see each and every one of us win. I don't want anybody left behind. I don't want anybody feeling like they're less than. I want us all to win together, and we can do it, So you guys, this week, my topic is watch your steps. And I say that because, you know, a lot of times we do things and we're not thinking about why we do things or even how we do things. And that's important. If you're wanting to change your life for the better, you're going to have to start paying attention to what you do and how you do it. And you guys, June is Men's Mental Health Month. So if you've got some friends in your life, some male friends, family, whatever, check on them. Make sure they're okay. Check on the men in your life. It doesn't just have to be your spouse or significant other. Check on the men out there and make sure that they're doing okay, because they go through some things. A lot of times it's like what we women go through, but then there are some other things that we may never understand that men have to go through. And I'm sure they would appreciate, you know, not you trying to solve their issue, not you trying to be the answer to all of their problems, but just the fact that knowing that somebody out there cares and somebody's out there thinking about them. So make a point this month, you guys, to reach out to our men, not just Father's Day, but just throughout the month, and just let them know, hey, I was just thinking about you. I hope you're doing okay. You know, just know you're always in my prayers. Those things help strengthen you. Those things help you hold your head up a little bit higher, knowing that you're not fighting the good fight, knowing that you're not struggling by yourself. So let's not forget about our men, you guys, and understand that just because we expect them to be strong all the time. Doesn't mean that they don't have times of weakness that they can't share with anybody else. So let's look out for our men and check on our men and just let them know that we're thinking about them. So you guys, let's move forward. Watch your step. Now, you guys, this is more of a self-check. This is more of a, how am I doing? It's June. We talked about a lot of things at the beginning of the year, but now we're into June. So how are we doing? How's everybody doing? We talked about some things in January, about some things we wanted to change, how we wanted to see our life being better, so how are we doing? So that's where we are today. This is a self-evaluation, a self-check, because we only have 6 more months to go. So whatever you have not been working on up to this point, if you want your life to get better, you're going to have to get up and do something about it. Nobody's going to do it for you. You have got to make a choice that you want your life to be better than where it is right now. And so you guys, it's time for us to do an evaluation. Number 1, I want you to evaluate your method. How are you doing the things that you're doing? Are you doing them the right way? Are you being productive? Are you being efficient, not spending a lot of money, getting the most done for the least amount of money? Hey, Wendy, are you using your time wisely? That's the method that I want you to evaluate. And then number 2, I want you to evaluate this thing right here. Your mindset, your thoughts. How are you thinking about your life? How are you thinking about the effort that you're putting out there? What do you expect the outcome to be? Do you need to work a little bit harder? Because like I said, we're already at June. So do you need to kick it up a notch? Hey, Miss Christelle, are you going steady? Or do you see yourself reaching your goals by the end of this year? It's your mindset. How bad do you want it? Is the question of the day. Whatever you want to change in your life, whatever you're wanting to see before the end of this year, ask yourself, how bad do you want it? And then put in the work to make it happen. And number 3, I want you to check your motives. Your motives is your heart. Your motives are the why. Why am I doing what I'm doing? Why am I wanting what I'm wanting? If you find yourself wanting stuff just so you can compete with everybody else, so that you can keep up and feel like, that you can level up with everybody else, you're doing it for the wrong reasons. The only reason to do something is to do it because that's what you want to do. You cannot expect your life to parallel somebody else's. We all have our own individual race to run. It's foolish to compare yourself to somebody else. It's foolish to try to compete with other people, you guys. And we talk about this all the time. So check your motives and make sure why you're doing what you're doing. What is the purpose behind what you've been doing so far and what you're continuing to do until the end of the year? So where are we? Where are you? You're the only one that can answer that question. Where am I? And where am I trying to go in the next 6 months? This is what we want to focus on. And in order to be successful in reaching any goal you set in life, you have to check yourself. You don't wait for somebody else to check you. You have to be willing to be the person that says, you know what, I've been lazy. You know what, I shouldn't be spending so much time distracted talking to these people over here. I got things I got to try to get done. I got goals I'm trying to reach by the end of the year. I need to do better about not getting distracted by social media. I need to be putting in the work to get where I need to be. That's good, Nancy. Nancy's doing better. Can you say that about yourself? Are you doing better than you were at the beginning of this year? Because we only have 6 more months left. You have to hold yourself accountable if you want to win. And that's an important step. That's why I tell y'all, watch your steps, because you need to watch you. You need to be the one to evaluate you and say, you know what, I need to do better than what I'm doing. I used to hear a thing that says, when you know better, you do better. That's not true all the time. Sometimes you know better and you know what you need to do, but you end up doing the very thing that you know is not healthy for you, but you know the right thing to do. So it's all about you making up your mind and how bad you really want it. So let's talk about what watching your step looks like. I got 25 things that says what it looks like when you really watching your steps and you really trying to make it happen. This is what it'll look like. Number one, you begin recognizing distractions. There's a lot of distractions out there, y'all. And sometimes they're subtle. Sometimes the distractions come in the people that we love. Sometimes it comes in the things that we like to do. Because a lot of times we form these habits. We form these attachments that become distractions. We form these addictions. Addictions are not just drugs and alcohol and cigarettes. That type. Drug addictions can be anything that keeps distracting you from getting done what you need to get done. Anything that keeps pulling you away from where you need to be and staying on track and staying focused. That's an addiction. So if there's something in your life or someone in your life that keeps pulling you off course or keeps distracting you and making you waste time, you're addicted to that thing or that person. So when you are watching your steps, you recognize, okay, you know what? I like that a little bit too much. I like talking to them a little bit too much. I need to limit my time. You start handling your distractions accordingly. There's nobody in this world that does not get distracted, but it's about how long you allow something or someone to distract you from the purpose you have set forth for this year. So you have to be the one to set the boundaries. You're the one that has to say, you know what? I enjoy hanging out with you guys, but I got to go. I got something I need to get done. Y'all go ahead. Y'all have a good time. I'll catch up with y'all next month. You have to discipline yourself when it comes to your distractions. Number two, you start operating in faith. Faith over fear. That is how you handle things now. If you see yourself watching your steps, then you understand that you've been through way worse things than you're going through right now. When you have faith over fear, you understand that just like God helped you through that thing that happened in your past that you thought you couldn't survive, He's going to help you through anything that you've got to deal with now. That's when you know you're watching your steps, because you're understanding that God has your back. You're understanding that, whatever it is I try to do, God is going to be with me. He's not going to leave me, and He's not going to forsake me. So that's when you know you're watching your steps, because you operate in faith over fear. And then the next time you feel nervous about something, about stepping out of your comfort zone, remind yourself, I feel the fear because it's new. It's not because I can't do it. The only reason why I'm feeling this nervousness, I'm feeling this fear, is because it's new. It's not because I can't do it. Because you have to remind yourself that God's word says, I can do all things. That means all things. That means there's nothing you can't do. That doesn't mean you won't get nervous. That doesn't mean you won't have a little bit of anxiety about it. But if you will override that with faith, if you will override that with trust, if you will override that with a mindset that if God brought me to it, He's going to bring me through it, then you can do it. It's not that you can't do it. It's just because it's something that you have not done before. And remind yourself, I have the faith to know that if God brought this to me, then He's given me everything on the inside of me to be able to do it. Number three, you start understanding the steps to success. When you have made up your mind that I'm going to watch what I do this year, I'm going to make sure my steps are intentional, you have to understand there are 3 steps to success. Number 1 is this mindset. You got to get your mind right if you're going to be successful. Number 2, effort. You have got to put in the effort. Nobody's going to do it for you. And number 3, strategic planning. You have to plan things out. You can't just say, oh, well, I'll do it. When I get to it, I'll worry about that when I get to it. You are not planning for success when you want to do everything spur of the moment. You don't plan anything. You don't have a plan B in case this doesn't work out. You have to be strategic in your planning if you want to be successful. So 3 steps: mindset, effort, and strategic planning. Number 4, when you're watching your steps, you are careful about what you say. You know, there's nothing like standing back and letting a person that thinks they know everything, that thinks they're smarter than everybody, that thinks they're better than everybody, stand back and be quiet and watch them make a fool of themselves with the things that come out of their mouth. So that's why you have to be careful. You let people know just how smart you are by the things that come out of your mouth. So therefore, you need to watch carefully what you say, and you need to watch what you think. You can't think like everybody else. You can't allow yourself to get negative when things get hard. Your thoughts have too much power. They have too much power. Your thoughts have the power to control your life. You cannot afford to let your thoughts run away and spin your life out of control. You have got to understand, when you're watching your steps, that means I got to watch what I say. Everything does not need a response from Karen. Some things I just got to let roll off my shoulder. Some things I just have to ignore. And then what I think. I don't have time to be thinking negative about you, my situation, or myself. I've got things I'm trying to get done by the end of the year, and I need my thoughts in the right place. Your words have power to either build up or to kill. It's up to you what you do with your words. That's why a person that's watching their steps understands just how powerful they are. God gives us so much power that we don't even realize. We just let things fall out of our mouth. We just comment on everything. We just say the first thing that comes to our mind. And that is not a smart thing to do if you're trying to be successful. You have to understand that what you say has power. What you say makes a difference. And once you realize that, you'll be careful about how you say things. You'll be careful not to just comment on things just because everybody's commenting on it. Be careful with your words. And number 5, you won't be afraid to learn if you're watching your steps. Because one thing we need to understand, life is going to be full of learning and adapting. If you can't learn and you can't adapt, you might as well give up now. You might as well give up now. Life is all about learning and adapting, and you have to continuously learn in order to be successful. And then you got to be willing to say, you know, how am I doing? Seek feedback. Hey, you know what? I said I was going to be doing this. You know, you've been watching me doing this. How am I doing? What do I need to improve? What do you see when you see me doing this? That's when you're trying to learn, because you don't mind the feedback. You don't mind the constructive criticism. You won't take it and have your feelings hurt because you want to get better. That's a sign that you're watching your steps. And then adaptability. It means being flexible. That means everything's not going to go your way. Sometimes you're going to have to adjust what you're thinking. You're going to have to adjust what you're doing. And that's okay. And you understand that. So you don't get all in your feelings. You don't throw a temper tantrum when things don't go your way. You understand, okay, well, all right, I need to do something different. I need to flex a different way. I need to try to find another way to make this work. That's when you know you're watching your step. That's when you know that you're growing and going in the right direction. Number 6, if you're watching your steps, you should already be building a network of people who actually support you and want to see you shine and succeed. You should already be weeding out some of those people that the Lord has said is not for you. Some of those people that the Lord says, you know, low-key, she jealous of you. Low-key, he don't even like you. So you should already be doing that by now. If you're watching your steps, God is showing you who's for you and who's not for you. You have to make up your mind to cut those people, to decrease the amount of time you spend with those people, but you have to do the work. God is going to show you, but he's not going to make you drink when he leads you to the water. He'll show you people. He'll show you their motives. He'll show you their attitudes. But it's up to you to do something about it. And number 7, if you're watching your steps, you're going to be spending the majority of your time in a positive environment. You're going to hate negativity. If you're really watching your steps, if you're really trying to grow, if you're really trying to succeed this year, negativity will get on your last good nerve. I was telling my coworker, I said, I can't stand this negative environment. I can't stand these attitudes. I can't stand just the way this atmosphere is here. So there are times when I will turn my music on and I will start singing and I will change the atmosphere even at my job. You have to make up your mind how much time you're going to spend in a negative attitude. I'm not going to spend a lot of time in a negative attitude or with a negative environment. If I see your attitude ain't right today, I'm going to get away from you. I'm going to speak to you and you can come back and talk to me when you adjust that. But I'm not going to spend my day dealing with your attitude, dealing with your nastiness. I don't have to do that. My time and my energy is way too important for me to allow you to infect me with your negativity. So when you really watching your steps, you get away from that negativity. You don't play about your energy. You don't play about your peace when you're actually watching your steps. Number 8, you should be celebrating your own successes and not waiting for everybody else. If you're really watching your steps, you know how hard it was for you to get from here to here. You know how hard it was to hit the milestones that you've already hit this year. You don't wait for anybody to celebrate you. You celebrate yourself. Because, baby, they don't even understand how many times you were up in the middle of the night. They don't even understand how you had to cry and had to lose a friend over here and had to, hold your ground and speak up for yourself and people not like you and people talking about you. You're the one that went through that to get to where you are now. So you don't wait for anybody to celebrate you. You celebrate yourself. That's when you know you're watching your step. You don't mind celebrating you because you know how much work you put into it. Number 9, you should have some improvement in your self-discipline. You should be saying no to anything that does not benefit you anymore. We talked about that. We have got to let go of things that no longer benefit us, time wasters, time stealers, things that make us feel bad about ourselves. Have you started saying no to those things that don't benefit you anymore? And sometimes it's people. I'm sorry. Sometimes it's places that you've gone your whole life and you finally wake up and say, you know what? I'm just doing this out of habit. I'm just doing this because my family's here. I'm just doing this because my friends are here. This is not serving me. This is not helping me be a better person. So I'm going to let it go. And a lot of times people don't like it when you do something for you. They don't like it when you bettering yourself. They don't like it when you're not following the status quo. But you have to make up your mind that I'm trying to get better for me, for my family, for my friends, for my neighborhood, for everybody. And in order for me to do that, I got to look out for me. I got to get me right. And you don't waste time. Number 10, if you're watching your steps, then your patience and your perseverance should be improved. You don't jump to do things as quickly when you're watching your step. You wait a minute. You find out the details. You hold up, before you accept things and just jump into it. And then when you do get into it and it's a slow start, you don't give up just because it's not moving as fast as you may want it to go. You hang in there. And that's when you know you working your plan. That's when you know you're becoming a better person because your patience has improved and also your persistence has improved. 11, you should see an improvement in your work ethic. When you're trying to be a better person, it reflects in every part of your life. They ought to be seeing you better at work. They ought to be seeing you better at church. They ought to be seeing you better at home. There should be some signs that you're watching your step, that you're trying to be a better person. You don't have to tell people that. People ought to be able to see that. That's just like people that want you to believe, that they've changed, or people that want you to believe they're so spiritual. You don't have to tell those things to people. Let your light shine. If it's real, it's going to shine. If it's real, they're going to see it. You don't have to broadcast it. So there should be some improvement even at your job with how you do your job, because you're carrying yourself different, because you're a person of purpose now. You got things that you're trying to get done, and that's going to reflect in your work ethic. And then we should be working smarter, not harder. So by now you should be making up your mind that I'm not going to wear myself out at this job. I'm not going to let them grind me into the ground. No, I'm going to work smart. I'm going to find a way to do this, but do it where it's less stressful, where it's not taking as much of my time. I'm going to find an easier way to do those things that I have to get done at my job. I want to work smarter, not harder. And you should already be working on that if you're really watching your step. 12, you will start being fully committed when you're watching your step. The reason I say fully committed is because you won't say yes to everything like you used to. You won't allow people to push you into things like you used to. If you really watching your step, if you really trying to walk on purpose, if you really trying to be a better person, you can't afford to let somebody talk you into doing something. So anything that you commit yourself to do is because it has a purpose in your life. Is it a purpose that's going to bless your future? Then yeah, you're going to be fully committed to it. Because you're going to understand that once you put your name on something, once you put your mouth on it and say, I'll do it, that's a contract, that's your reputation at stake. If you're watching your step, you can't afford to let your reputation get muddled. You can't afford to go back to lying and doing some of the stuff and making excuses like you used to. No, your reputation is at stake. And if you want that to get better, you're going to have to do better. Therefore, whatever you say you're going to do, you need to be fully committed. And you need to follow through. And that's with yourself, that's with your friends, and that's with your family. Whatever you put your hands to, whatever you say, I'll take care of it, you need to make sure you follow through. Because that's all part of walking in your purpose. You got to be a person of your word. People got to be able to trust you, is what I'm saying. 13. If you really, really, really watching your steps and trying to walk better this year, you're going to spend more time praying and less time worrying. Because one thing I'm learning in life is I can't do anything about some things anyway. So I really need to let God know that I trust him, because it's out of my hands. All I can do is wish people the best, but I don't have no control over anything. So therefore, you're going to start praying more and say, God, this is really troubling me, but I know that you see everything. I know you're a God that is in control of everything. So therefore, help me, Lord, that I pray more than I worry. Because the Bible talks about with worrying, what can you change? I'm paraphrasing that. But the way that it's saying, it's asking you, what can you change by worrying? Nothing, absolutely nothing can be changed by you worrying, but everything can be changed by you praying. So remind yourself of that. 14, you must learn from the journey. Learn from the journey. When you're able to look back on things and laugh and say, you know what, I did such and such, but I'm not going to do that no more because that was a hot mess. But that's all right. I know what to do next time. Learn from the journey. Quit being so hard on yourself when you mess up. Quit stressing yourself out because you didn't do it perfect. If I worried about being perfect, I would never get on this podcast. I've been doing this now, y'all. I was looking back almost 5 years, if not longer. Did not know what I was doing when I hopped on, but one thing I had in my favor, I trusted God, and I still do. I don't have to be perfect with it. I just have to be honest. I don't have to be perfect with it. I just have to be myself. And that was what God spoke into me before I even got on for the first podcast, is you be yourself and you trust me. And I've never let go of that. And I thank God for 5 years, he's never let go of me. So just understand that you learn from the journey. I've learned some things while doing this podcast. I've learned some things just from listening to you guys. And I've learned some things because whatever I give out to you guys, God puts it back on me. So while you're growing, while you're learning, while I'm up here talking, that means I got to get myself together too, because my reputation is at stake. I can't be up here telling you steps to do this, that, and the other, and I'm not taking the steps. So it's made me a lot more accountable when it comes to myself, a lot more accountable about how I walk and who I spend time with and what I allow coming out of my mouth. That's been a blessing to me. So that's why I try to tell you guys that learn from the journey. You're not going to get it right all the time, but there's always something to learn. Even in the biggest mistakes, there's something you can learn from that. 15, you got to learn to have fun along the way, you guys. Life cannot be so serious. You have to be able to laugh at yourself and understand that you're only human. You're only human. Everything, thank you, Nancy. Everything is not meant for you to do. So the fact that you tried it and you put your big girl pants on and you gave it a shot, have fun along the way. Hold on to the memories. Don't think so hard about how you messed up, and get your lesson out of it. But learn how to laugh about things, the mistakes you've made, and smile about it, you guys. If God gives you another day, hey, chalk that stuff up to you not knowing what you were doing. You gave it a good try. Okay, I may not ever want to do that again, but have fun along the way. 16, be honest with yourself. When you've learned to be honest with yourself, your life gets so much better. It's not a whole lot anybody can say about me because I'm already honest with me about me. And so it would be really hard for you to try to shame me or make me feel bad about myself or get me upset with words, because I'm already honest with me. I know my shortcomings. I know my downfalls. I know what I need to improve. I know what I need to keep working on. I know those things because I'm honest with me. I know that I need to step up some things in my life. You know, I know that. So I don't wait for people to tell me about me. I know about me. And I talk to me about me. So therefore, when you're honest with yourself, you can get your feelings off your shoulder. You won't be so easily offended when you're honest about you. So when you're watching your steps, that means that you're looking at that person in the mirror saying, okay, you slacking. Okay, you know, you could have done that better. We're going to try this again tomorrow. Be honest with yourself. 17, count on yourself. When you watching your steps, you understand that sometimes you're going to be the only person you can count on. Everybody is not going to do what you need them to do. And that's okay. That's okay. Because you can always count on you. You show up for you. And then let other people do what they're going to do. Because one thing I had to learn for myself is people only do what they want to do. And most of the time they only do it if it's going to benefit them in some way. So you have to let people be people and do what they're going to do. But you show up, you do what you're supposed to do. You count on yourself. Because failure is just a simple part of success. It's a minor setback, and it's part of the process because you learn from your failures. 18, keep on planning. No matter what you're doing, don't ever stop planning. Even if you have to erase everything you've been trying to do this year and start over, you still got another 6 months. Another 6 months. If what you're doing up to this point has not worked for you, erase that board and start from scratch. You still got time to work it out in this year. But one thing you don't do is give up. You keep on planning. 19, avoid getting burned out, you guys. Stop, number one, obsessing over things. You know what? Sometimes it's not the right time for you to do some things. If it's wearing you out, if it's stressing you out, if it's keeping you from sleeping at night, if you just can't do nothing but focus on this one thing that you're trying to do, you may need to back up for a minute. You're obsessing over it. You're doing too much because there's life going on around you. You can't afford to be focused in on one thing like that. You'll get burned out. And remember, there's no real definition of success. Everybody's success is what it means to them. So just because the world says success is having the biggest house, the biggest car, taking the biggest vacation, having all this money, that does not mean that has to be your definition of success. You need to constantly redefine what success looks like to you. Now, I was asked the other day, they said, Karen, what does success look like to you? I said, you know what? I used to think it was all of that stuff. I said, now success to me is waking up in the morning with a song on my heart, doing the best that I can to be kind to everybody, trying to help people along the way, and being able to say my prayers and peace and go to bed and have a good night's sleep. To me, that's success. That means I've done something good with my day. That is success to me. Success is not some big thing down the road. Success is something you have to do every day. And they were like, oh, Karen, I didn't think about it like that. Yeah, when you put your life in proper perspective, you cannot be planning 10, 15 years down the road because you don't even know if you've got that kind of time. All you know is what you've got right now. What are you doing in your right now? What are you doing to make your life better, to make somebody else's life better? Are you happy? Do you have joy? Do you have peace? That's my idea of success. And it's drastically changed over the years because I really understand now with being in healthcare and seeing so many people with money being sick and not being able to enjoy it. Money is not a guarantee that you're going to be happy. That's not successful to me. You may be successful in gathering up a lot of money, but what is your life like? I went and saw a doctor this week just to get something checked out. And this man really blessed me. He asked me, Karen, how many doctors do you know that are happy? And I thought about it. I said, really, none. And he says, I live in a 1,500 square foot house. He said, when I got out of medical school, I went and lived with my parents. He said, I paid 3 times the monthly payment on my student loan until I paid off. Now, doctors have a huge student loan bill. He said he stayed with his parents till he paid his whole student loan off. He said, and then he got married to a nurse, and they moved into a 1,500 square foot home that they love, that's been paid off forever. He drives an older vehicle. His wife is happy. She works in Dallas part-time and then comes back home. But they live a life where they don't have anybody on their shoulders. They don't have debt constantly creeping through their ears. And with him having his own practice, he doesn't have the management and all the bureaucrats telling him how he has to do it and how many patients he has to see and everything. I said, that is amazing to me. And that man seems like the happiest person I've seen in a long time. And he's right. So many people are burned out because they're trying to live a lifestyle that requires them to work themselves to death. And that's where we got the dream totally messed up. It's not about you working so hard for your future. You got to enjoy your now because you don't know if you're going to have a future. And that's what people don't think about. So he really blessed me just telling me that. And you could see the joy in this man. Somebody that's got all of this money, but he lives a simple life. And he is living a life where he's not stressed out all the time. I said, that's a perfect example. I said, God meant for me to talk to this man because it helped me get my life in perspective to where I enjoy every day. It's not about the stuff. It's about the quality of life, you guys. And I didn't mean to get all off on that, but he just really impressed me because he could buy anything he wanted, but he chose to keep it simple and just enjoy his life. 20, giving grace and accepting grace. You know, when you're really watching your steps, you understand that it's by grace, that you have what you have, that you're as smart as you are, and that you've made it this far. You understand that. So you have that heart that says, you know what? I don't deserve what I have. I don't deserve, you know, all that God has given me. So I'm going to give some people some grace. I'm not going to be so hard on everybody when they make a mistake. I'm not going to be so hard on them when they want to come back to me and apologize. You know, I had somebody come and apologize to me today, and I said, you know what, God, I thank you for grace. I thank you for grace, because it was so easy to show that person some grace. But that's because I wake up grateful. And when you have a grateful heart, it's not hard to show people grace, because you recognize that it's only by grace that you are where you are. So when you start giving and accepting grace, then you know that you're watching your steps. 21, when you start understanding that everybody doesn't want you to succeed, and you got to be okay with that. It is not their job to make you a success, you guys. You can't get your feelings hurt, because some people have their own reasons why they can't be happy for you. Maybe they wish they were like you. Maybe it is that they felt like they had the same advantages that you had, and maybe they squandered them, and maybe they didn't do what they were supposed to do. Maybe they're feeling bad about themselves and the effort that they put in. It is okay that everybody doesn't want you to succeed, because success is not up to them, you guys. It's not up to anybody. It's up to you. So it's okay if haters want to hate. It's okay if people want to be jealous of you. It's okay. Let them do what they're going to do, because they are not responsible for your success. You are. 22, you are no longer being devastated when other people don't come through for you. Instead, when people fall through, you have the wherewithal to say, you know what, okay, so-and-so was supposed to do this. Okay, they didn't come through. You ain't got time to be mad. You ain't got time to be calling and cussing people out. You have the mindset that says, okay, I had a plan B for this just in case they didn't come through. That's when you're thinking ahead. That's when you're strategically planning, because like I said before, people are people, and people will let you down. So you always have to keep a plan B in your head, just in case that person doesn't do what they're saying they're going to do. And you got to be able to keep it moving. That's when you know you're watching your steps. You got to be strategic in your thinking and understand. And especially if you're not paying that person to do something, oh yeah, you'd be lucky if they come through for you. So you always got to be willing to sit down and come up with a plan B ahead of time, so that you're not left hanging, so you can keep moving. 23, when you're watching your step, you can give love and not expect anything in return. When you're watching your step, you realize that you are so blessed. You realize that you really have all that you need. So when you give love to somebody, they don't have to give anything back. You giving it from a good heart. You giving it from a place of abundance. You giving it because that's what it was on your heart to do. You're not expecting anything in return. That's when you know you're watching your steps, because you got your mind right about things, and you're getting your heart right about how we're supposed to love one another. Because truly, we're not supposed to expect anything back when we show love. If you get something back, that's a bonus, but you're supposed to be giving it from a right heart, to where you put that out there, because God is always going to give you back more than you give out if you do it for the right reason. 24, you have adapted some better habits to improve your overall health. If you really watching your step, you should have been making some changes by now to try to improve your overall health. Whether you have decided to cut out certain foods, whether you decided to put in some more work on your exercise, and whether you've decided, you know, to team up with somebody and go walking every now and then, you should have already started some better habits. whether it's not allowing certain people to get in your ear and stress you out. Some people you just have to look at the caller ID and let it go and act like they never called. Those are the habits you should already be working on and getting better at so that you can improve your overall health. Because we all know what we're doing wrong. We all know what's stressing us, what's upsetting us, what's making us unhealthy. We know those things. So what are you doing? You know what you need to do, but what are you doing about it? So if you're really watching your steps, that ought to be getting better, little bit by little bit. 25, you should be changing things for the better. In your home should be better by now. From January to June, you ought to see some improvement in your household with the quality time. You ought to be keeping some clutter down in your home. You ought to be communicating better with your family, and there ought to be some more understanding. And that's within your home. You got to start at home. Ain't no sense in getting along with everybody out here in the world and you can't get along with the people at home. So if you're really watching your step, you understand how important it is to have your house in order. You know, there's nothing worse than a person that stands up and tries to tell everybody what to do and sounds all righteous. I used to live with a person like that. Sound all righteous, but then when you get to the house, everything is out the window. Nothing is being followed. So don't be that kind of person. So if you were like that in January, it's June. So you should be seeing some improvement. And if you aren't, you need to do something about it. And you guys, my final thought, watching your step is about you paying attention to you, not being in everybody else's business, because it's going to take all the energy that you have to keep your own self in line. And life is about making the necessary changes, holding yourself accountable, and checking your outcomes to make sure you're putting your best foot forward. So my advice to you and my advice to me is, girl, you better watch your step. Thank you guys for watching. I love you guys. I just want to ask you guys to pray for some of the members of the page. They've had some losses in their families, some sickness and things of that nature. So just keep them lifted up in prayer, you guys. Let's say a quick prayer and then I'm going to let you guys go for tonight. I love you guys. Heavenly Father, we come before you to say thank you. Thank you for yet another day that was not promised. God, thank you for helping us to pay attention to ourselves. Help us to remember that it starts at home. We can't be better until we start at home. So God, help us to begin to clean up our homes, clean up our inside, so that everything that's good will flow to the outside, Father God. We ask that you just continue to strengthen us, help us to be better people than we were yesterday. And God, as we move on to this second part of the year, God, I pray for everyone at Sister I Got You that these next 6 months be the best 6 months of their lives. In Jesus' name, amen. Thank you guys. Love y'all. I will see y'all next week. Take care and happy Juneteenth weekend, you guys. Be safe. Bye.